Okay, let's start blocking out the body. We aim to make rough blackouts with correct proportions. This video is speeded up 3 times so that the process will not be boring for you. But if you like to watch it slow, please use the YouTube player function to slow it down as you like. And sorry for the censorship, as I try to not get banned in YouTube. Let's append the cube to the scene. Then go to Initialize in the Tools menu and set the divisions to 10 for all the axes. This will divide your cube to 10 separations in each axis. This way we can measure the proportions more accurately. Now we scale the cube to match the size of the head. As you may know, we will measure proportions with head units. A head unit is the width or height of the head from the side view. As you know, the height and the width of the head are the same. Keep in mind that the head from the front view is smaller than a head unit and is about 0.7 of a head unit. So don't measure with the front view of the head as your head unit, as it's smaller than actual head unit. So let's duplicate our cube and move it to the side and separate it by going to the split menu and click on the separate the unmasked object. Okay, about measuring the proportions, due to the fact that we divided the cube into 10 separations in each axis, now we can measure with ease. Each head unit is 10 separations. So for example, if we need 1.2 head unit, it means we need 12 separations, and we will add those two more by duplicating the cube and deleting the rest of unused parts, then move it close to the cube and do the same for the other axis. In the end, we can delete every face except those that we need for measuring. Or we can just make the cube again by closing the holes or extruding the front face as we like. But if you are going for extruding the faces, make sure that you keep the side faces so that you know how much you need to extrude the front faces. Then you can delete the side faces and your measures are on point. As you can see, the chest or rib cage is 1.2 width and 1.5 height in front view and 1 head unit of width in side view. The pelvis is 1.2 head unit in width and 1 head unit in height in front view and just 0.7 head unit width in side view. So here I try to make the rib cage and the pelvis according to the correct size, and then I will measure our head width from the front view in order to make sure that our head width is correct. Okay, now I want to place the chest and the pelvis boxes in place. As you can see in the reference picture, and by the way, this reference picture is from the book Anatomy for Sculptures. You can see the logo, and I'm allowed to use the pictures in this course. So back to the reference picture. As you can see in the reference picture, from the side view, the top of the chest box is rotated to the left a little bit, and the pelvis is the opposite, and it's tilted to the right a little bit. And please pay attention to the distance between ribcage or the chest and the pelvis in the side view. In the back they are closer together, and in front they are much more separated. Now I add this sphere into the scene by appending it in the Tools menu. And I try to shape this sphere around the boxes of the chest and the pelvis that I placed. Make sure you've turned on the symmetry by pressing the X key so that in the front view your shape is symmetrical. And the body is like a bean from the side view. We try to achieve that bean shaped look from the side view, but still stay in the boxes area so that we make sure our proportions are correct. And when you see the polygons are stretched too much and you cannot shape the sphere anymore, just go ahead and dynamesh it. Make sure to keep the dynamesh resolution on something low, something like 48 or so that you can shape the sphere easily. If you go too high on the resolutions, moving things around are so hard and smoothing it is actually a pain. If you look at the body from below, it should not be flat, it should be curved with some convex shape. Here I increase the width of the pelvis in front view, and the reason is that in the reference picture, it's the pelvis of a male model. In a male model, both pelvis and the ribcage are the same width in the front view, but in females, pelvis is actually larger than the ribcage. So I increase the width of the pelvis in the front view and shape the body according to the pelvis box. For the proportions, Anatomy for Sculptures website has a handy tool called Human Proportions Calculator, or HPC. You can access it by going to the hpc.anatomyforsculptures.com. There you can select the age period of your model, the gender of your model, and the part of the body you want to calculate. You will see the measurements by head unit or HU, and also if you put the target height of your character, you will see the measurements in centimeters, meters, or foot, depending on your choice. Here I made a mistake in upper arm measurements. As you can see, the upper arm should be 1.7 HU, but I've made it 1.2. I don't know what I was thinking to at that time, but I will fix it later when I want to join the arm to the body. As I told you before, you can measure different parts of the body like feet, hands, and head. So here to know the measurements of the forearm, first I've checked the total length of the lower arm, then I've checked the length of the hand, and by deducting the length of the hand from the total length of the lower arm, I found the length of the forearm. I'm not doing some rocket science here. I just found out that the width of the arms are too much, so I wanted to scale it down, and instead of scaling it in X and Y axis, I just did some complicated stuff to achieve the same result. For you, just scale it down in two axes, X and Y, and it will be the same. We just need the lengths that will be Z axis. We cut the upper arm in half because the muscles of the shoulder come to the middle of the bone of the upper arm. So visually we see two parts that are separated in the middle of the upper arm. The reason that we see such separation is that if we see the upper arm as a chain, each segment of the chain has a 90-degree rotation offset compared to the top and the bottom segment. It is the same in the upper arm muscles, as you can see in the reference image. So the segments are the shoulders, the bicep and triceps together, the forearm, and the hand. And by separating the upper arm into two parts, we can easily achieve this chain loop by scaling each segment. Finally, I've merged all the parts of the arm. As you can see in the reference picture, the arms are not parallel to the body. From the top view, they are tilted a little bit to the forward. When I move the arms to the body, finally something is off in my eyes, and I found out the mistake measuring the upper arm. So I detached the two parts of the upper arm into two different subtools and moved them far from each other. Then I duplicated each part and add something around 2.5 head unit to each part. Then I moved them close together again and merged the whole arm together. Then for the placement of the lower arm, as you can see in the reference image from the side view, the lower arm is bent forward a little bit, and from the front view, it has a little bit of tilt upward. So I try to mimic the same pose and then merge them together. Now I dynamesh the arms so that the arms are actually one solid mesh. Then I smooth the arm so the parts are visible but not so separated as it is now. If you have a big separation like this in the elbow, just inflate that part and dynamesh it again and smooth it. Now I fixed the final placement of the arm and fixed some parts of the body that seems off to me. Then I will mirror the hand by going to the Z plugin menu, then Subtool Master menu and clicking on the mirror and selecting the X-axis and merging into one subtool. Finally, I check the arms again and fix some parts. Arms blockout are done now. It looks ugly, I know, but it does not matter. We just want the shapes and the anatomy to be right in this stage. Okay, now we measure the legs. The legs should be 3.6 head unit from the crotch to the heels. Upper leg is 1.65 head unit and the lower leg is 1.95 head unit. Or you can just round it in favor of either the lower or upper leg. For example, 1.6 to 2 head units. Now I adjust the body a little bit and prepare it for the legs. I go to the transparent mode to see the pelvis box that we've created. To find the crotch area, you can drag a line from back bottom edge of the pelvis box to the front of the character. This line is the position of the crotch. Just move the crotch a little bit down to match the thing I just said. And check the leg measurements once again. Here I made the full length of the legs and delete every face other than the front faces. Then I separate each part of the leg by proportion guides. And then I extrude the faces to give the leg a little bit of depth. I will do all the things that I did for the arms for the legs. I merge all the parts of the leg together, move them into place. As you can see, the legs are attached to the body from the crotch area. Don't attach them deep inside the pelvis. Now I check the proportions again to avoid the mistake that I've made for the arms. And here I will go and increase the legs length more than what anatomy said is correct. In anatomy, normal height of the human is 7.5 head units and idealized human or heroic human is 8 head units of height. We already measured everything with 8 head units and it's realistic. It's idealized, but it's still realistic. Because we are aiming for the semi-realistic character, we can increase the legs length for our female to look sexy a little bit more. Finally, we mirror the legs the same way and rotate them a little bit with symmetry activated. Now we carve the crotch and butt area of our character. Throughout this course, and even when we are making our own characters, we always check back different parts and fix them. The reason is that when you look at something for a long time, you have a tunnel vision to that thing and you can see it as whole. Therefore, you are prone to make mistakes. The best way to fix these problems are to move to other parts and come back to the previous part again in some time and fix what you see at that time. And do this again and again. Then we merge the whole body parts together and dynamesh them to glue different parts together and then smooth some rough areas. And we adjust the butt and the crotch. Okay, here's the blockout for the body. It looks ugly and I'm completely aware of that. Don't worry, she will transform to a beautiful lady soon. In a few next videos, we are going to make the face parts for our character. And in the next video, we create the eyes of our character. So stay tuned, and if you like the video, hit the like and subscribe to the channel and click on the bell icon. So when the new session uploaded, you get informed. That's it for this video. Have a great day. Bye bye.